Hi, in this problem we're going to take a look at Skill Builder settings. So this is the problem set that we were just in. I'm going to make a new copy of this. And so now, let's change that name. So now let's change this to a Skill Builder. And the first thing you'll see is we got a lot more options now. So the trick is here, completion count. In a skill builder, the students are asked not just to complete a set number of problems, but rather to get a number of problems correct in a row. Base number that we tend to use is 3. You can adjust that. You could be very strict and go 13. You could decide that all you need is 2 right in a row or 1 right in a row. That is up to you. 3 is pretty much the standard. Test out count. Test out count only applies for the very first few number of problems the student sees. If it's left to 0, this feature is turned off, which is, again, the default. You could decide that you think the students need to get 4 right in a row unless they get the very first 2 problems correct on their own. In which case, then one student might do 2 problems, and then another student might do at least 5, because they would have had to get the first one wrong for this to trigger. But I'm going to leave them as the basics. Day limit. So if a student were to just get an infinite number of problems and be told, keep working, keep working, keep working, that could easily be frustrating for them. We think that would be counterproductive. So we have this day limit feature. And a day limit feature, again, tends the default. Once they have exceeded this number, they are asked to just stop. Go away for a day. Go get some help. We think that a human needs to step in and help this student out. So that's the original intention of the day limit. Then there's this down here, stop on day limit. What this does is checked again by default. What this means is if a student exceeds their day limit, it will pause them. You would only want to uncheck this if you're building a more complicated design, which we'll get to later. So for now, these are the defaults. There's one little thing I want to mention, that this day limit. So we've decided that it's kind of cruel if a student gets, say, the 9th problem wrong, but then the 10th problem right, and then we just stop them. Say, hey, take a break. The next day they would come back and that hot streak of 1 correct is gone. So the day limit can actually be exceeded, and it can be exceeded by up to 1 less than the completion count. So with a day limit of 10, it is possible for a student to actually see 12 problems in a day with a 3 correct in a row as the completion count number. And the last thing I'll mention here is that the system won't even let you test drive the problem set when the day limit number is larger than the number of problems you have here. So in this case, if I wanted to actually run this, I would have to change this down to 5, hit save. Now, this, by the way, you've got to remember that it's really day limit plus the completion count minus 1. So honestly, the day limit here should really only be 3. So if I test drive this now, the system is happy, and we could get, if we get 2, let's get some wrong, and you notice that is, even though I got it correct, I didn't get it correct on the first try, so it's marked as wrong. Let's get the next one right. And let's get the next one right. So with the old day limit system, I would have been cut off even though I had a hot streak, but now I'm actually allowed to proceed to the next question. If I get this right, I'm successful. If I get it wrong, then the skill builder marks me as wrong, and I've exceeded the day limit. So let's do that. And you've reached your daily limit. Come back again tomorrow. And the last thing I'll mention is that we were in linear order, but of course a skill builder can be either random or linear order. And that's about all there is to say about skill builders.